All right? So, good morning. Ding, ding, ding. Ding the fuck. Ding, 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 ding. Okay? I appreciate y'all for getting the message, right? But we not rubbing our eyes, right? We not rubbing our eyes. We not yawning. No, we getting the fuck up out of bed and we waking the fuck up, okay? And we waking up. We not taking our time, right? We not stretching like, ooh, I see that cop. What am I supposed to do? What the fuck am I supposed to do? I see my black sister next to me and I see them about to attack them. Should I? No, you don't got time to fucking think about that shit. You pull the fuck up, okay? You pull the fuck up, all right? Let me just tell y'all something. I'm speaking to the white people specifically. We used to breastfeed your babies, okay? We used to breastfeed your babies. After we were raped, okay, and our children sold, we still nurtured and breastfed y'all motherfucking babies, okay? And guess the fuck what? When y'all babies got a little bit older, they were like, oh, well, I own you now, right? I own you now. And they had the nerve to call us nigga after they fucking thrived over our milk, okay? So let's just think about that for a second, right? Let's just think about that for a second. Let's think about the fact that we have given you guys our bodies, right? So what are we doing now? What are y'all doing right now? What y'all gonna do? What are y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna give us y'all bodies, right? Oh, okay. Y'all not gonna play games. Y'all not gonna be like, oh, I'm scared. Motherfucker, I'm scared every day I leave my motherfucking house. Okay? Every day. Y'all know, I have a 12-year-old son. Okay? I have a 12-year-old son. When he was in kindergarten, somebody called the cops on him. Okay? Somebody called the cops on him. There was cops that ran up in my building the other day, and he was coming up the stairs with his hands up. With his hands up at 12 years old, scared. Okay? I'm scared every fucking day. Okay? So if y'all are scared, right? If y'all scared, y'all need to get y'all shit together. Read a fucking book, do some goddamn karate, fucking put in your work, do some fucking push-ups and fucking look yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm a badass bitch, I'm brave, cause I ain't gonna stand for this bullshit no goddamn more. Cause I ain't standing for this shit no more. Okay? Because y'all owe us. Period, poo. And I don't give a fuck how you feel about it. I don't give a fuck about your white ass tears. I don't give a fuck about your white ass feelings. Because I don't have the time to give a fuck about your feelings. I don't have time because I am in danger. Okay? So once I'm no longer in danger, we can talk about your feelings. But right now we can't talk about your feelings because I'm still in danger. Okay? We don't got time for it. Okay? So on Tuesday, we did a vow, right? We came up with a vow, right? Because, like, I'm sick and tired of seeing people see shit go down and recording that shit, right? Y'all recording that shit and like, leave him alone. Stop it. Stop it. Get off of him. What the fuck? They don't give a fuck. They hung us in fucking Central Park in 2020. They do not give a fuck about what you're saying, right? Okay, so we gonna pull the fuck up, okay? That's what we gonna do. All right, y'all soldiers. That's what y'all say. I am a soldier. I'm a soldier. Every last one of y'all are soldiers. And I need y'all to act like it, okay? Yes, we scared. Okay, we scared, but we brave. And that's that on that. That's that on that. So I want y'all to repeat after me. I want y'all to put your fist in the air. Okay? And I want y'all to mean this shit, okay? If y'all don't mean it, get the fuck up and leave. please, okay? Because we don't need the bullshit. We need people who are ready to pull the fuck up, right? Yes. Like, yeah, y'all here, and it's very much appreciated, right? But it gets harder. This is light work, okay? This is light work, so it gets harder, right? It gets harder. So I just want y'all to make this vow, right? And I want y'all to mean this shit. Repeat after me. I vow not to stand aside and watch racist shit happen. All right, we're gonna say it again. I vow not to stand aside and watch racist shit happen. Now, we're not just talking about the police, we're talking about all around. We're talking about your bosses, we're talking about doctors, we're talking about these racist ass teachers, we're talking about all this shit. I don't mean like being angry like, oh my God, nah. Fix this shit right the fuck now. If y'all don't fix this shit, I'm not showing the fuck up for work. That's what y'all gonna do, right? If y'all don't fix this shit, I'm not showing the fuck up for work. Cause guess what? If y'all could be here and we got all these resources, y'all cannot show up for work a day or two. Right? Y'all could do that, right? Cause your paycheck is not worth my body. I'm sorry, I'm way more valuable than that. Okay? So you're not gonna tell me y'all out here and won't be willing to give up a fucking paycheck. Okay? So let's just be real. All right. The next part is I vow to pull the fuck up. I vow to pull the fuck up. Okay, thank y'all. All right. Last one. I vow to end racism and protect Black lives by any means necessary. I vow to end racism and protect Black lives by any means necessary. And if y'all don't mean that shit, leave.
Make some noise for Andrea! No, y'all gonna give it up. Make some motherfucking noise! No justice! No justice! No justice!
No peace!
Fuck these racist ass!
Police!
Now listen, that's the energy I only could get from my black queen. Put y'all fists up for the queen! That's energy right there. I birthed from a black woman. I'm so proud to be black. I'm so proud to have my queens. I'm never gonna let her voice be stifled. But let me tell y'all something. I'm a cisgender man, and let me tell you something about toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is not recognizing the moment that we have to build solidarity. Toxic masculinity is not recognizing the Pride Week is for all of us to take part of. And how do we take part of it? By doing the same thing we're asking the idiot ass de Blasio to do. Give him a platform to speak. I want to introduce y'all Alex.
People's justice! But they're real quick. Don't fucking defend him.
Exactly what Ash said. You bring that message, you're going. No questions asked. I didn't come over here to hear one solution resolution all day. Yeah, I gotta come better with that, better than that, y'all. There they go, y'all. There they go, y'all. What's going on? There they go.
You getting anything?
Huh?
You getting something good?
I'm getting what I can. All right, y'all, I'm gonna let them go over there and do their thing. Hopefully they don't do nothing crazy. I don't know what just happened. I hope they're getting somebody. I knew it was only a matter of time. I knew it was gonna be a matter of time. I knew it was only gonna be a matter of time, y'all. Now tell me how this is happening. Tell me how this is helping, man. And you see the leaders of MRB is not at the front line, man. They freaking behind the lines. Hey, don't move! I guess they try to push everybody back. And look, y'all know, man, I don't back down from stuff. So if you watching my live, you're like, oh, he's scared. That ain't even the case. That ain't even the case. That ain't even the case. So, that's not even the case. What up, bro? How you doing? Good. Yeah, I've been watching him though. I've been watching him. See, that's what I'm saying. People so late. It's freaking cop right there. It's cop right there. You got more cops on the roof up here. They just want to get people, man. That's all it is. It's all about identifying people, seeing who we can get. They pushing everybody back again. See, now everybody want to get out the way. Y'all shouldn't have never been doing nothing crazy. I'm not going to jail, y'all. This isn't my organization. I told them, this ain't my organization. Now they pepper spraying everybody. So, y'all know I'm not about getting people hurt, but I'm definitely about to put my goggles on. This is what I mean when I say donate, guys, is to help keep myself safe and to help keep other people safe. Other people safe. We do have medics out here, but medics can't get to everybody. And I'm gonna help who I can help. So Hold on, y'all. Somebody got a bottle of water. Somebody got a bottle of water. Alright, I got you, bro. I got you. Look, can somebody hold my phone real quick? Alright, man. You gonna have to tilt your head back. Let's go burn. You gonna have to open your eye though. You gonna have to. Let's go burn like hell. Yeah, I am.
How are your eyes?
You're gonna have to open your eye, man. Tilt your head back. Tilt your head back. Tilt your head back. Let's go burn like crazy.
They some eyes, nigga. Nah, I got it.
You good?
You good? My left eye more than my right.
Alright. Gotta open it. Gotta open it.
Hey, where's mom? Right there.
It's getting better. Gotta open it.
Boy, don't scare me like that. Everybody here just
baking soda spray that'll neutralize the burn.
You want baking soda spray? He already has some.
Oh, you got some of that?
I have some right
Oh, yeah. Let me get some of that. There we go, yeah. This goes. All right, man. Let's go.
He's taking this like a champ. I could never.
You got to. That's the only way you go get it out.
Oh, man.
That is so fucked up.
Y'all didn't even pay attention to the sign.
Get that water. Put that water back on my face.
All right.
Water? She wants her water.
Take my.
Hey, who got? Hey,
Can you hand me her spray bottle?
I got you.
Thanks. That way I can help.
right here. Hey.
I got a napkin if you need it.
Yeah.
Look,
Hold on.
In your head bottle.
Hey, this gonna help relieve it, bro.
Here's a napkin.
The water just cooling it.
Yeah.
Don't use
Yeah, the
ice
water
in the
just
eyes.
cooling it,
You have
yeah.
to flush it out. Everything goes in that, flush out with water.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Go. Blink.
Blink, baby. Blink.
You gotta rinse it out of your eyes. Better? My name is Andrew. I'm a paramedic. Okay? You're gonna be just.
Open your eyes and blink a little bit, baby.
All right. I don't know who water I had got, but thank you. See, I told y'all, man, we help each other out here. And I know how to get that stuff out of your eyes, but like I said, I needed some water until somebody came with something else. You can flush it out with water, it helps cool it off, but it don't completely relieve it. So I'm just glad we had some medics out here.
Hold on.
Are you doing okay over here?
Yeah. He'll probably need another rinse.
Yeah.
In a couple minutes.
Are you you're rinsing with water, right? Just water?
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, I'm bringing the paddy wagon.
Well, someone put magnesium directly in the eyes 100%.
Okay, good. Magnesium? Unflavored magnesium is good. Milk is not.
Yeah.
Rinse it now.
Hey, bring the paddy wagon.
Yeah.
I told y'all saw it with your own two eyes, man. I try to take care of whoever I can take care of. So I try to take care of myself. So again, if you would like to donate to help keep myself safe and to help me help keep other people safe, feel free to donate. Feel free to donate to my Cash App or my Venmo at ETCVM. That's Cash App or Venmo at ETCVM. If you need, hold on, let me see that name again. If you need to donate via Zelle or PayPal, just message this page and I'll send you the email as soon as possible. Thank you so much, Bridget, for
know what some of these guys' co-workers was doing this week? Y'all want to know what they were up to?
Fuck you, pigs!
He's laughing over there. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? You're not shit with all that gear.
Y'all want to know what else they were doing? They were brutalizing black women. Hey, hold on. Out of everybody that was there on Saturday at Hy-Vee, only black people were charged with a crime. Fun, we having fun. We having fun. Putting pigs on the run. We having fun. Woo! We having fun. We having fun. Putting pigs on the run. We having fun.
A lot of tourists or people from out of the area coming to check out what was going on at CHOP, and they said that because of that they were getting either more customers or a steady flow of customers, but then after a while they said their customer flow decreased considerably
by 8%,
and they said by an estimated 80%, that they've only got about 20% of the customers now that they normally do, and they seem to be implying Portland update. There's a lot of Antifa. Let's get back to that in a minute. At this business, they seem to be implying that the shootings were scaring people off, that after the shootings, maybe even before the shootings, but after the shootings, people were scared of walking around the neighborhood, walking around the streets in and around CHOP.
and also especially what the people heard in the mainstream media, she said, it scared the people even to walk into this neighborhood, to this little taco place. And she also said that
so she was saying that a lot of people, shootings aside, were just starting to become concerned that they're concerned that there's no police in the area and that there wasn't a way to protect them, or they wouldn't feel safe. I'm not gonna share all the details. I'm still trying to speak with several business owners or managers in the area, and I may do so while I'm still here, I may do so upon leaving, but this one person we spoke to at this one business made it clear that they're losing customers now, and that a lot of people feel unsafe walking around here, or just aren't even willing to come here because they feel so unsafe, or they think it's going to be so unsafe.
yes.
Anything you'd like to add?
No.
Okay. What are all these comments about Bilderberg? Do we have an announcement? I don't know. Portland. What was... What are we hearing about Portland? Someone was saying there's a lot of Antifa there. I don't know. I'll keep an eye out for comments about Portland, and I'll flip the camera around and head back into CHOP. I can't assure you a bunch of Portland reports. We don't have a whole lot of time to spend there, unfortunately. I need to get back to LA because of a family matter, but we'll at least be stopping in Portland and trying to get a glimpse of what's happening there. I can hold it. I think there's some things in the pockets. Just make sure they don't fall out. Someone's saying in Aurora. Is that Aurora, Colorado? I've seen that there's been action elsewhere in Oregon. I think there was a standoff late last night in another city in Oregon. I forget which one. I don't know if there's been action in Eugene. But yeah, I've been wanting to check out the protest action in Portland for some time, particularly when they tried to set up the autonomous zone and when there was the statue coming down, and then there's been more action, I think, with the fire this week, but we'll see. I'm hoping that I can get someone who I know in Portland who's familiar with the situation to come on the channel. Maybe we go out and do some live reporting, or maybe we just do an interview. We'll see what's possible. But that could be coming up as soon as hours from now. Helicopter flying overhead, flying by. Annabelle's channel is
Romika Annabelle. ROMIKA ANNABELL.
There you go. That's Annabelle's channel. You ask, she answers. Oh, there's our clown. Isn't that guy the clown?
Yes.
Alright, well, we already gave him one interview. We just bumped into the clown, but he's not a clown today. We've already showed you all around 12th and Pine. This is the Alright, I'm losing connection, but I think I'm back as someone walks by with a rainbow flag. Is the picture alright? I lost connection very briefly, but I think do we have picture? I lost connection very briefly. Okay, good. I need the cord. Is the cord in here?
It looks great, dude.
Sorry if it's choppy, but it should get better now. Every now and then, for some reason, I hit a spot where I lose connection. But hopefully that won't happen again during this broadcast.
You guys are great. Thank you so much. You guys really do look cool.
There's still, as we walk by the East Precinct again, I'd say there's still a bit of a touristy feel.
Yeah, a lot of pictures are being taken. Posing, selfies, Instagram pictures.
It feels like anything but the day in which CHOP is being dismantled. So even though we came late as far as the duration of CHOP, and even though we've been here a week, it doesn't look like we're gonna see the end of CHOP, nor the city coming in and forcing people out. We saw the city live on Friday morning, we saw the city come in with a couple of those bulldozers or land excavators, whatever you want to call them, and with loads of SDOT workers and vehicles and with some police protection, and they started to clear some stuff out and then stopped and backed off and left. That video is on my channel, or that stream is on the channel, and you can look 2 days back to find it. It's not super busy, but it's not deserted here. Chop is definitely not over. And the barricades aren't gone. That was another thing. It seemed like both, as I noted earlier, it seemed like both the city and the protesters were in agreement that barricades like these here at 11th and Pine, and definitely this one down at 10th and Pine, that they could go. I've got a live stream going, but if you want to promote your music, you can come on for a second.
We're just friendly music.
You
you guys don't mind, we ask for friendly donations.
Sorry, I'm not donating, but if you want to promote your cause on, here you go.
Keep the kids off the streets and on the beach through the music.
Okay. Yeah, and I was saying, it seemed like the city and the protesters were in agreement that this barricade, I'll walk down there, that at 10th and Pine could go and would go by today. But it's Sunday afternoon and that barricade is still here. No MGK to speak of here. Granted, I don't know, maybe he's come up here some other day, but I definitely haven't seen MGK here. You see, the bus stop is now more like a donation drop-off sign. Let's flip the camera around. You got anything to say right now?
Well, the only thing what changed basically is that the boxes with the art is removed, but those baton barricades still remain. I'm wondered how they even got them here, because they are so heavy that you need a crane to lift them.
I think we're gonna wrap up this stream shortly, so let's take a look. Who's got what comments and questions? And presumably this is our last stream here in Seattle. I'm specifically looking for Seattle and Chop comments and questions. Howdy, Costello. Thank you for being on the broadcast. I hear people are in some disagreement. Rage Brew's going on hunger strike. I'll flip the camera around, even though they probably want to stare at me. I don't know, it's distracting. I don't know what the deal is with Rage Brew, but I can reach out to him. With regard to us, you guys have already heard it numerous times. We'll be making a stop in Portland shortly, and we might be broadcasting to from there in just a matter of hours.
Look how many people there are.
Initially, I was planning on arriving here in shop early this morning and sticking it out till whatever action unfolded. But it just does not look like the city's coming here today. Maybe, have we walked down Nagel Street? I think we have. We've walked all over Seattle. I think we've walked on Nagel Street, but what specifically on Nagel Street? You're very welcome, nomadic viewer, or John, whatever you prefer to go by. I don't know if all the excitement here is over. It could get ugly at the end. I don't know. The city might need force in order to move people and barricades and objects on out of here. And what about the precinct? For all I know, maybe this carries on for weeks and I end up taking another trip back up here. I'm not planning on that, but who knows how long this will drag on. We did see some action in terms of a confrontation between the city and the protesters Friday morning, which we live streamed right here. But we never really saw it get violent. But nonetheless, I've been very grateful that, and I'll flip the camera back around. I'm very grateful that we've been able to document a lot of what's been going on here. We've been able to conduct numerous interviews. At first, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to get many interviews because a lot of people are hostile toward filming. Many people came on camera, did interviews with us, and we got tons of them. We got a variety of perspectives. We got some people who were just tripping out a little bit, I'd say literally. And we also got people having serious policy discussions with us. And we got Rage Brew explaining everything from video games to how they got the man off the roof. Likewise, I think we really showed what the status of press freedom is here, or lack thereof. And
I just like the name Magic Monkey, I have to say.
Magic Monkey has been a loyal viewer since early on in LA, I think. Maybe before, I'm not sure. But yeah, and then off camera a bit, I'm going around and trying to talk with locals and business and try to get their side of the story. But that side of the story, I think, is also going to come out a lot in the press and in the courts. Because, as we know, there are lawsuits against the city over CHOP. What else have we documented here? We've documented the nightly meetings until we got chased out of them, and the people's assemblies, as they sometimes call them. For better or worse, there's a lot of infighting here, and we showed some of that. I'm not here to encourage that or to focus on it, but we saw a lot of infighting within CHOP, definitely on the field here at Cal Anderson Park during some meetings.
And we looked at the gardening area, what is still progressing. I think they're not going to take the gardening area down. Doesn't look like it.
Well, it's a big homeless encampment.
Yeah, no, maybe the tents, but not the plants.
Oh no, I don't think the plants are going. But I am glad. You know what? Today, as we were saying that we're walking through the homeless encampments and people don't film there for the most part, and Omari says in his streams that he doesn't go there. As we're talking about that, lo and behold, we get a 10-20 minute interview with the Paradise guy.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but monitor some of the comments during the Paradise interview, but I had to turn them off because some of the comments were getting too distracting from that interview. But yeah, I saw some of you guys liked his lady friend and her story about the weed in the ambulance, if I'm recalling correctly.
So how long it will take for the produce? Or
You're the gardener.
Yeah, I mean basil and the lettuce and everything grows really fast, but until the tomatoes are ready, maybe 1-2 months. Depends how big the tomatoes are, but it will take a while.
Any last comments or questions? Someone ask something that I'll just leave to your imagination. And stay tuned to the channel, obviously, because as I keep saying, it might just be a matter of hours before we're back alive for you. It feels a little bittersweet leaving here.
Yeah.
I waited 30, this is the last, I think, no, I haven't been to 1 or 2 other Western states, but this is the last Pacific Coast state I've come to. It took me 30 years to get here. I'm finally here. I don't have an OnlyFans. I still need to look into how that works. What, people donate and then they get to chat with you, something like that?
OnlyFans?
Yeah, the OnlyFans
I don't know. I
website.
just know that girls are using it. And
Thanks a lot to all the people who've been loyal viewers throughout the protests and riot coverage over the past month. Thank you very much to people like Costello, to people like Lord's Army who have contributed. I was hoping Lord's Army would be in this chat, but I guess he's not. Nonetheless, I'd say go check out lordsarmy.org. He's got some protest music coming out that might interest you. I can't do super chats because this channel is demonetized, but I guess you could buy a demonetized sweatshirt or shirt on the We Are Change store, and maybe that'll get me a little proceed.
I'm waiting for my sweater.
Yeah, you're gonna get a demonetized sweatshirt. Adult OnlyFans is adult
don't
content.
know what OnlyFans is?
I thought it's just a place where you have Skype chats or something with your fans, but I don't really know it. One more pan of the tents, sure, but I'm not gonna go back to the gardening area because that's a little walk. I'll just show you through the fence what things look like at Cal Anderson Park. It's not empty. The city really appears to be in no rush to get people out of this park. So through the fence, we're out of focus and we're back in focus. There are 2 different clusters of tents on the actual sports field here. That being one cluster, and then there's another cluster over here. And then, as we showed you earlier, on the other side of that soccer goal and that other fence, there are lots and lots of tents in and around the gardening area and beyond. So dozens of tents remain at Cal Anderson Park. A smaller number of tents, but very noticeable amount of tents, remain outside the East Precinct. The protesters remain in control, at least from the outside of the East Precinct. CHOP is still in existence, although who knows for how long. Any last comments? You. Yes,
oh,
you.
Me? Yeah, it's. I feel already. I don't know. We've been here for a week every day, and the beginning was pretty rough. And some people, as we filmed, they constantly filmed us. If we moved left or right, they filmed us. If we turned the other way, they filmed us. And in the end, they actually wanted to go on camera, what was pretty surprising.
There were moments in which someone's extremely angry at us for filming, and then 10 minutes later wants to come on our stream and is pretty much being grateful for us filming. Oh yeah, your channel, one last time.
Oh, Romika Annabelle, ROMIKA ANNABELL. And you can put that, I think, everywhere on Instagram, on Facebook, and you can find me everywhere there.
All right, that's enough. That's a wrap from Seattle. It's been interesting to say the least. And see you shortly in Portland. Stay tuned to the channel. Hit the bell if you want notifications. And presumably we'll be coming to you in just a matter of hours. So from Seattle, Washington and Chop, adios, au revoir, and choose, as they say in German. See you soon.
If you do want a copy of the zine, look out for people who are passing it out. Otherwise, we will be talking about it, the speakers will be talking about it. So make sure you're also paying attention to that. Also being aware of the land that we are occupying and being aware of the brutality that has happened on the land that we're currently standing on, as well as the brutality that currently happens when we ignore these histories, right? When we ignore them and become complicit in them and we replicate them. So it's
You think that's okay? Check his pulse. Check his Check his pulse.
Get off of him now. What is wrong with you?
I'm mad as hell. I woke up wanting to see the world burn down yesterday because I'm tired of seeing black men die. He casually put his knee on a human being's neck for 9 minutes as he died like a zebra in the clutch of a lion's jaw. And we watch it like murder porn over and over again. So that's why children are burning to the ground. They don't know what else to do. And it is the responsibility of us to make this better. Right now, we don't want to see one officer charged. We want to see 4 officers prosecuted and sentenced. We don't want to see targets burning. We want to see the system that sets up for systemic racism burnt to the ground.
Hands up, don't shoot! Hands up, don't shoot! Hands up!
When you have a civil unrest like this, there are 3 types of people in the streets. The protesters are there because they actually care about what is happening in the community. They want to raise their voices and they are there strictly to protest. You have the rioters who are angry, who are anarchists, who really just want to fuck shit up, and that's what they're going to do regardless. And then you have the looters. And the looters almost exclusively are just there to do that, to loot. Now, let's go with that. Let's say that's what it is. Let's ask ourselves why in this country in 2020, people feel like their only hope and only opportunity to get some of the things that we flaunt and flash in front of them all the time is to walk through a broken glass window and get it.
Capitalism has always been infused with racism. We should not think about racism and capitalism as discrete entities. They are both interconnected. But I think that this is really a pivotal moment, not only in the history of the US, but also in global history. We collectively witnessed the lynching of George Floyd at a time when the world was sheltered in place, attempting to avoid being infected by COVID-19. The fact that so many people went out in the streets in the midst of a pandemic was an indication of the deep passion and the collective will for change.
There's a marvelous new moral and spiritual militancy in terms of peaceful protest, but it's also the intensity of it, day in and day out, the local organizing that's taking place, the coming together of groups that in the past would hardly talk, that are now struggling together, walking the streets together, going to jail together. But also, I think that you got massive unemployment, and then you've got the neo-fascists running things in the nation state. Donald Trump exemplifies dogmatism. He exemplifies indifference. He exemplifies callousness toward people who are suffering. And when you have that kind of impasse, the violent explosions take place.
This moment has been a long time coming. I don't think that anyone expected that it would develop quite in the way that it did. But the particular confluence of revealing the structural racism that made Black and Latinx communities more vulnerable to COVID-19, combined not only with the horrendous murder of George Floyd, but also Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and Tony McDade. But I think what is so important today is that people are focusing on structural issues. They're not simply calling upon the individual cops to be brought to justice. They're calling for demilitarization of the police and defunding of the police and dismantling of the police.
There's a social contract that we all have, that if you steal or if I steal, then the person who is the authority comes in and they fix the situation. But the person who fixes the situation is killing us. So the social contract is broken. You broke the contract when you killed us in the streets and didn't give a fuck. You broke the contract, so fuck your Target. Fuck your Hall of Fame. As far as I'm concerned, they could burn this bitch to the ground. And it still wouldn't be enough. And they are lucky that what Black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.
Hands up, don't shoot! Hands up, don't shoot! Hands up!
911, Operator Harris, where is your emergency?
I don't know what's happening. Somebody kicked in the door inside my girlfriend. Breathe.
You said 26. Where was she shot at?
I don't know. She's on the grill right now. I don't know.
Okay. You said she's 26. Is she alert and able to talk to you?
No, she's not. Breathe. God. Help. Oh my God.
I think she would have guaranteed that no one would vote for her. Because I think pretty much everyone in Washington, you know, they garden some way or another. There's a lot of urban garden options, and container gardening is a big thing because we got our big buildings. You know, we got people living in big buildings, and they've all got patios, and they will container garden. So we got more that are coming around out here. And then we have, if you'll notice, they got irrigation. I don't know if you can see it or not. Got irrigation tubes. Straw, of course, mulch. Washington is big on mulch. Me, myself, and I am not big on mulch. But Washington likes mulch. They're anti-weed. I kind of dig like just getting out and digging it out. So we got tons and tons of tomatoes. Tons and tons of tomatoes. And these are organic and they're free. Neat, huh? So we got some This is, these are like little small onions, little spring onions. I got spring onions at home. I got them planted, and they are not, I've got like maybe 2 that have planted. So look at this. So this is a hoop house, little greenhouse. Keep the buddies warm. Keep them out of the sun so they don't toast. Makes it easier to keep them irrigated, keep them wet, so they can grow and establish good roots. And then, and I'm assuming because there's a massive influx of plants and things, that this is going to be bigger.
Getting some money to help these people who are down here, who are homeless, who kind of clearly need help, just like everywhere else. Again, this is anywhere in America, not just CHOP in Seattle. Those people need help. They need some funding, for crying out loud. And I agree, cops don't need to deal with that every single time. I wish they had de-escalation training, like real one training, but
every day we dream.
I see it. I've been down here enough times.
My brother, he been said, like, man, one of us gonna have to go to the NFL. One of us gonna make mama rich.
One of his favorite players was Sean Taylor. That's why he wore that number 21, to honor Sean Taylor.
Ahmaud played football from age 6 until graduating high school in 2012.
Ahmaud was more so of a quiet leader. You know, he kind of pulled you to the side like, hey man, you know you can do better. Don't give us half effort. We need you on this field. We need 100% out of you.
He was this loving person, like always wanted to uplift others around him, and he had a smile that was infectious.
When I first met Ahmaud, to be honest, I thought the coaches was playing a joke on me. I see this small kid walking up saying he's gonna play linebacker for me. But as soon as we got into the first drill, they were not talking about Ahmaud's size and stature or lack of. They were talking about his heart.
Ahmaud loved being like a heavy hitter, like a playmaker, and a ball hawk. And just like he was undersized, but he had the biggest heart, man.
Unfortunately, Ahmaud wasn't offered a scholarship for football. At that point, we decided just to go to a technical college and take up a trade.
Within a year and a half, he was back at home building his life. He jogged and worked out every day.
Ahmaud loved Ahmaud, and the way that he worked out really showed that.
He ran like 5 miles every day. When he runs, he's run. He run. I'm talking about he run.
I think he just liked it because it was peaceful. He was at home when he ran. I knew he was happy when he ran.
I left on a Saturday morning to go out for some training. I went to Ahmaud's room door like I always do when I'm leaving. I went to the door. I said, I'll be back in a couple days, and I love you. His last words to me was, I love you too. I had no clue that he wouldn't be there when I came back. On the evening of the 23rd of February, I got a call about 6:30 p.m.
I just remember crying so much that night in the bathroom. Just devastated and just heartbroken, hurt.
I found out on social media. As I read the comments of the post, people were asking who got killed. And inside the comment section, they said, Ahmaud Arbery. He used to play for Brunswick High. And I read it and I said, nah. In social media, people get things wrong. It's not Ahmaud. It's not Ahmaud.
On February 23rd, Ahmaud's run took him over to Satilla Shores, a subdivision near his house. As he jogged, 2 white men confronted him. One shot Ahmaud 3 times. He was 25.
Our local paper published the article that was very incomplete. It said that Ahmaud was involved in a burglary and he was killed by the homeowner.
I gotta do something because this doesn't sound right. It sounds like a lot of lies, and it sounds like it's being like structured in a way to try to make Ahmaud look like this bad guy.
That's when Ahmaud's high school coach delivered an emotional tribute on Facebook Live.
And I think about, losing him. I just want Ahmaud to know, man, that, I run with Ahmaud. That same strength, that same endurance that he used to run these sidewalks with, Ahmaud, man, I run with you.
In the heat of the moment, he kind of He kind of coined those words. I run with Maud. I created the Facebook page, I run with Maud.
And it started just as a community effort. 38 people joined the page immediately, and it was just us and 38 people.
In early May, a radio station obtained a video of the shooting, filmed by a man who authorities say helped chase Ahmaud. The video showed that 3 men boxed Ahmaud in with their pickup trucks before he was fatally shot.
You got to understand that for many days, for 74 days and 73 nights, these people were free.
They don't know what they took from us as a community, as a family, as friends. It was sick. It was intentional. They knew what they were doing. It was planned from the jump, and that's my opinion. I solely believe that. And it's a true hate crime.
Once the video went viral, the 3 men were arrested. The I Run with Maud campaign attracted tens of thousands of supporters, including celebrities and some of the biggest stars in sports.
Rest in peace, King. I'm doing my job for you.
For so long, we stood alone. And to see that we had so much support, it really meant a lot.
You know, he would just be so proud, man, just to see all the love and support and how hard his mom is, you know, fighting to get justice for him. I know he's smiling down right now, just seeing everything, man. Just seeing that fight. That fight, man.
I picked up where he left off. You know, Ma's not in the neighborhood anymore to keep going. So what I started doing, I started taking the same routes he took when he was jogging. And that's my commitment every day to him.
I plan on running with Maud forever and a day.
Don't overpay for Best Buy. WikiBuy can save you money. It's a browser extension.
Stories of our time, anytime. Nightline.
Your mom said, comb your hair.
Your dad told you, smarten up. Your dog is judging you right now. And your best friend just called you crazy. We all need someone who'll pull no punches.
I want to say one thing. All y'all talking about Black Lives Matter. What is your money saying? That's what I want to know. For all y'all talking about Black Lives Matter, is your money saying Black Lives Matter?
All right, it looks like there isn't a lot of protesting out there, rallies and such. There are a few things going on the multi-stream. There is CHOP still intact, which is good. We are going to continue the analysis of some of these anti-protester, Donald Trump-like folks that want to shut the protest down or attack it. This is Jack Posobiec. He is a alt-right streamer / social media person who is an avid supporter of Trump. It deals with Antifa, Washington, D.C., and the Lincoln statue with Jack Posobiec. So let's take a look at what's going on here.
Are you supporting a black business? All right. That's what I want to know. And when are you going to start protesting with your money? See, it's fine to be out here protesting, but when you going to start using your money? That's what you got to do. Start protesting with your money. Okay? That's all, protest with your money. Hey, man, I appreciate this. Thank you very much. How do we do that? Okay? By not spending. One day, hey, listen, you ain't gonna break this system down by not spending money one day. If you ain't gonna spend no money, then you need to be in the long run for a boycott. Okay? I don't know. Bro, what you trying to do? Block me or you with me or against me? I'm trying to save us from looking bad. Oh, you with me? Okay. All right. That's all. Okay? So that's my thing, man. How you spending your money? That's going to determine if Black Lives really matter. Hey, Jack. What's going on, Jack? How they treating you, man? Hey, see, listen. Hey, folks, let me say this right here. Let me say this to the black and hey, Jack. Don't go nowhere, Jack. Jack, don't go nowhere. Go home. This is one of the things wrong with this country. People that have different opinions can't come together. See, we're hating people because we disagree. And this is what's destroying us as a nation. Because we disagree. Wow, you don't even know no black history, and you talking about white supremacy. You need to just shut up. Just shut up. Hey, Jack, how you doing, man? How are you? Hey, listen. Hey, my friend. Come here, boo. All right. This is what we need to do, my friend. All right? We need to talk, man. We need to come together.
No peace. No justice.
We need
no
to stop this. You understand?
Dialogue.
We need dialogue. And unless people like you and I step up and be the example, then nobody else will do. Okay? This is all I'm saying. You know me. Listen. Here, let me give you my card, man. Call me. Yeah, I'll give you a card as well. Call me. We'll kill him. Okay? Here's my card.
They killed him.
Here's my card.
MLK talked and they killed him.
All right? Let's talk, man.
Are you done now? Oh, you asked some fucking questions. You think they respect you? They think they respect me? They don't give a fuck about you.
Hey, my man, let me say this right here. Ain't nothing wrong with trying, sir.
Ain't nothing
wrong with trying.
MLK tried, and where's he at now?
Ain't nothing wrong with
MLK
trying,
tried, and
sir.
where's he at now?
See, this is what I'm trying trying to say we all on the same sinking ship, and we're fighting like cats and dogs. So why we're talking, sir?
We've been talking for 400 years. We've been talking for 400 years. Fuck the way you talk.
Changing the way you talk? Why don't you talk with your money, man? All right.
You see what's happening now? You see the H&M? You see how many cops have killed black people today?
Listen to what I'm saying to you. You think for 1 minute I'm not in the same danger that you in?
No justice! We're done talking. No justice! We're done talking. No justice! You know how we're talking? No justice! Go ahead. No justice! How can you read the statute and say it's okay? How can you say a white man with his hand over a black man's head is okay? Answer me. Is that
you know the history of the statute, sir?
I'm asking you a question.
I'm pretty sure that most
yes or no? Is a white man's
why the statute is there, sir?
Black man's body okay?
Those of us who do fuck with the statute,
should probably write a letter over a black man's body okay? Why a black man is on the history of the statute, sir? Brother, fuck the history. The white man's hand is over the black man's body.
When has the white man's hand never been over the black man's body? When has his hand never been over our body, sir?
White man controls everything.
Answer my question. Why you can't answer my question? My question is, when have they never had their hand over us?
Ask you a yes or no question. Sir, ask you a yes or no question. You have a black man on his knees without clothing, without anything. The president that we're supposed to be so happy about, he treats black people with his hands over his head. Get the fuck out!
Hold on.
This is a Nazi. This guy's a Nazi. He's an actual black man.
All right. So, take this situation here. Jack Posobiec, avid Trump supporter. Trump retweets this dude. Like, he probably talks to Trump. Breitbart is filming. The credit of the video goes to Breitbart. Older black guy, seems very intelligent in a, train conductor's uniform or whatever that is. Bellboy service type uniform, whatever it is. I don't actually know what it is, but that's kind of what I get from it. He's saying a lot of really good things there in the beginning. I really liked what he had to say, and it's similar to like Bernie Sanders, for instance. And what we're talking about here is the inner workings of this stuff, all right? Because everybody sees stuff on the surface, but they don't really know the tactics that are employed or deployed on the people that helps you see through some of this shit, okay? And it really means the same. If Jack Posobiec scripted with this guy to do this, to create a situation, what it does is it riles up the crowd of people who are really feeling the injustice. And when the people are really feeling the injustice, they react. And just Jack being around a lot of these people, they literally want to kill the dude. I mean, like, his level of animosity and racism and the real overt, completely in-your-face Trump MAGA mind out there. Like, he's one of those high-level Trump MAGA mind people at the top of the slave class, right, that we were talking about in the last video, if you're following along. If you're not following along with all these videos, and they are kind of winded and long, it does take some time to learn this stuff, but what we're trying to do is take these opportunities to show what is really going on in these streams. And, things aren't always what they appear, even in the streams, right? They are live. They can protect the people. It's evidence of police wrongdoing or anybody's wrongdoing. The camera does not lie as far as that goes, but the camera does lie when there is scripted actors and agent provocateurs and various anti-protest people getting involved. That changes the dynamic, okay? What looks like infighting here with this older black gentleman and the rest of the protest might not be actual infighting at all. Okay? It could be. It certainly could be. I'm not discounting that this guy just, he has his old ways, he has his old beliefs. He has seen a lot of really great improvement in his life, in his own experience. And so, and he is right. He is saying a lot of things that are truth there that make you respect what he's saying, about when has the black man ever been from underneath the white man? Things like that are really appropriate, are really factual, and it kind of makes you jump to his side, like, hey, this guy's a great guy. Well, if he's an actor, a real Soros, billionaire, Trump, Gates, Bezos type person, I just can't even imagine what it would be like if everybody in the world actually empathized and listened to other people and what they're saying and cared about other people and how they feel. Those two specific things right there would change a lot of shit. And we're going the opposite of that. Everything is attack. Everything is divide. Everything is don't care. Be apathetic. Just care about yourself. Focus on yourself. Focus on your family. Focus on your friends. Focus on your success. Focus on your security. As long as all those things are okay, then the world's okay, right? Wrong. There's an old saying out there, and I don't know exactly what it is off the top of my head, but the saying is basically that if somebody's freedom and liberty and prosperity and happiness, I know it's not all those things, I'm adding some things in there, if that's under threat anywhere, then it's a threat to you, okay? Because they're first and you're next. And I know that wasn't even close to the exact quote. I added a bunch of stuff to it, but that's the idea of it, okay? And anyone who has this superiority Trump MAGA mind, and just to back up for all those new people that have joined and aren't going to watch those previous long strings about the mass shooter, the possible mass shooter, I should say, that could have went and shot some protesters if he wasn't told to go home and he listened, because he's listening to his chat. We have defined the Trump MAGA mind as a mental issue. It's in the brain. It's not part of conscious thought. It's an actual structural problem of domination. And the domination disease, that I am more superior than you, I am smarter than you, I am funnier than you, I'm more successful than you, you're trash, you're scum, you're not good enough, you don't work hard enough. This whole mentality is the disease. That's the actual problem that we're facing. It's not racism, it's not sexism, the Me Too movement. It is all those things. Don't get me wrong. It is all those things, but they're not separate from each other. It's the same mindset. the Trump MAGA mind, and we're just using that. He wasn't the first one to do this, but he's the king of the MAGA mind right now, and all his followers just blindly follow him out of all logic, right? Poor people, black people, Diamond and Silk, follow a racist, egotistical, only cares about himself billionaire when they were in the trenches. That has nothing to do with skin color, right? Nothing to do with it. And they know he's racist, but they just disregard it. And the reason why is they have the dominating mind, the Trump MAGA mind. Racism is one of the symptoms of the disease. Sexism is another symptom of the disease. Classism is another symptom of the disease. All these things where somebody is dominating another, abuse, abuse of children, abuse of partners, the domination over others is a disease. And one of the problems that we have here with this disease is it's that type of person that pushes themselves to power, stepping on everybody else. Donald Trump didn't become a billionaire on his own. He was given money. He lost money, and he gained money back. And the reason why he gained money back instead of going completely bankrupt is because he learned how to really step on people and do a bunch of illegal things. Otherwise, he's a horrible businessman. He's not very smart. He only cares about himself. Who would want to work for that kind of asshole? And that's the problem a lot of his employees have with him. But so many don't have a choice, right? And that's another place our society is failing in this domination system, is we don't have a choice. We don't have the choices we think we do. But this domination, is a power, a power over others. And who rules over others? People in government, CEOs of companies. They really push for that. They strive for that. They step on anybody to get there. And you take the nice person who also wants to try and get there. They want to be successful. They want to get into leadership of a company. They want to get into government and fix things and help people. You look at somebody like that, a nice, good, wholesome person. They don't have that same energy, that drive for power, right? So when you put one of those up against one of the Trump MAGA minds, you get a domination battle. Who do you think is going to win most of the time, right? In that battle of supreme aggression over, nice, polite, I don't want to be involved in all this bad energy stuff, so I'm just going to bail out. Or whatever happens, but it usually ends up in a bailout, right? So that's why our whole leadership is corrupt and has failed us because of this. It's all connected, everyone. This is all connected. And the racist is usually also a sexist, is usually also an elitist. It all mingles together. And there are exceptions. There are some people that are just sexist or just racist, and that's it. They're nice in every other way. It's possible. But it's all part of this Trump MAGA mind, which is a disease. But anyway, that's kind of a recap of what Trump MAGA mind is. What we're going to talk about here, actually, I think I should just focus on that completely, other than streams. I've been doing streaming for a long time, and there's a lot of people streaming the protests. I used to have to be the one that does that, and people would tune into me and, restream off of me and those kinds of things. But now there's plenty of people doing that. I don't need to worry about that anymore. What I do need to worry about is our future. And one of the key things to fixing the future is understanding what the actual problem is. And I think this is it, folks. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know. I've been in this fight for a long time. I've been looking, a lot of people, a lot of protesters, a lot of activists, a lot of people that want to change the world don't really want to even look at Jack Posobiec. They don't even want to look at Fox News. They don't want to watch MAGA streamers and see what's going on there. But as we can see from that last video where we had a possible mass shooter in Portland and we analyzed all his streams, we learned a lot from that. And those discussions, that's why it's a 16-hour stream. He only streamed about 8 hours total, or maybe 10, somewhere around there. But there's like 6 hours of discussion like this about various points that come up on a level of detail that most people miss because they don't pay attention to this stuff. They don't even think it exists. During Occupy, during Black Lives Matter, these other movements, the first Black Lives Matter in Ferguson, not this one, people didn't even think that the government infiltrated into protests. They didn't even have a clue. It's really, really great to see how Portland, how CHOP, a lot of these other places, DC, New York City, everybody knows now. They do know now, and it's so great because they're watching out for it. They're warning people. They're filming the provocateurs, which makes them nervous. So there's a significant improvement, which is really great because that's how they make the protests go away. Is all the infighting and attacks within, infiltrating into organizers, infiltrating into live streamers, other sorts of protests. There is a hierarchy of sorts where there's the people that do and the people that follow. So they get into the people that do areas and try and disrupt things. So the people that follow just scatter. It's a military tactic. And that's what they do. They do it in every protest. They do it in anything that dissents against the status quo of the system that they enforce without doubt, using the police forces. See, there's all this force in here. There is nothing freedom about force, okay? But everybody thinks that in order to have freedom, we must have force. Well, when you use force for freedom, like the U.S. military, U.S. government does, being a violent, imperialistic, take over the world type government, things start to happen that aren't very good. And that is resistance to that force. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. It is an actual physics reality in this reality. Real eyes realize real lies. That's where we're at, folks. We have to understand this shit. It's all in front of our faces. It's not hard. You just have to learn the basics. You have to learn how they attack us. You have to learn how they divide us. And look at this. I mean, look at this serious look right here. I'm doing some finger point. I'm going to pick his nose here. Right? Little Jack Posobiec's nose is being picked by the tapping finger. I don't know if you can see that, maybe full screen. On my little screen, I'm not seeing it, but anyway, look at his face there. He is very engaged and very serious looking, and he was just pushed because he said some bullshit, obviously, to get that reaction. Of course, none of that is on the stream, right? The audio isn't on the stream, whatever he said to just really enrage that person. And then the older black gentleman comes in to help. And I know we just shifted gears really fast, got back to the subject, and that's kind of the point. I want to get moving on with all this stuff. I was just doing an update on what Trump MAGA Mind is, and let's make it viral. Let's make sure everybody knows what it is, because in order to fix the problem, we have to know what we're up against. You can't change these minds. Learn the tactics. Don't fall for the division and the disruption that's continuing to come our way and will get worse. We must stand together, stay tight. Stand together, stay tight. So, this guy that was saying some things gave him his card. Hey, you call me, bro. You just call me. Gives him a card. Acting like they don't know each other. Establishing that they don't know each other on the video, right? If they do know each other. That's what they're doing. They're establishing that they don't know each other by, here, take my card, man. Call me. Let's fix this together. You call me. And now that he's been pushed, this guy's hopping in. Now, he just might be an older guy, not involved with Jack at all. Maybe he doesn't know Jack. That's certainly a possibility. It's one of the two. Either he doesn't or he does. It's 50-50. But you look at his actions and his continual actions and see who he's protecting. See who he is serving. Why is he putting his body on the line? Right? We'll get some more answers here and see maybe if we can solve this mystery of what's really happening here.
This is Jack Purcellman. Get out of here, Jack. Get out of here, Jack. Get out. Get out, Jack. Get the fuck out, you stupid Nazi. Get out of here, you fucking Nazi. Come on, Jack.
Sorry they blocked you.
Whoa. Get out of here.
Hey, get off. Get off.
Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm talking to my friend. I'm talking to my friend.
Get out. Get the fuck out, Jack. Come on, we're going. Come on. Oh, sorry. Get your motherfucking ass out of here, boy. I done told you 50 times. Get the fuck up out of here. Fucking Nazi. Take your motherfucking ass back to Richmond. Take your ass back to Richmond, bud. Okay. No, he lives in the city. Well, he need to take his ass back to fucking Virginia. You know where you live,
I literally just wanted to hear what you had to say.
That's okay, but call me, man. Let's talk. Let's talk.
No, we can talk here.
No, obviously they're not gonna let us talk to you.
I mean, okay. I thought it was pretty brave of the way you got up there to speak your mind.
So what I'm asking you to do is let's come together, man, and call a press conference.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
And see, can we bring an end to this nonsense? Would you be willing to do that?
I'd be willing to. And again, I'm not here to really say anything. I'm here to listen.
Okay.
I'm here to listen.
Okay.
Gavin with you?
Okay.
With you, Jack. You don't come alone.
Okay. Oh, man, just don't worry about it.
Say again?
Don't worry about it. Just let's get you safely out.
I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine.
Okay. All right. All right. Hey, Jack, call me, man.
I will call you.
Call me.
Let's out of here, boy. I got your card right here. Son, I got you right here. Is this your number?
That's my number, man. Call.
Is this cell or
That's my cell.
Okay.
Call me.
Intelligence operator.
All right.
All right.
Call me. Let's talk.
Well, are you going to be all right, John?
I'm going to be all right.
You sure?
Get out.
Get up out.
Get the fuck out.
Get out. Talk to my brother.
Get out.
Literally.
Get out. Get out. Get out. Get up out. Safety, get out. Get out. Get out of here.
I know.
Get the fuck out of here, Jack. You fucking neo-Nazi piece of shit. Come on, see Kyle. See Kyle. We know you love to see Kyle. With Richard Spencer and the Clark brothers. You fucking Nazi trash. Get the fuck out of here. Need to get escorted out like a bitch. Mobbed on your bitch ass. Get the fuck out.
Dude. Sure, I know all these guys.
Jack, what's going on? Are you okay?
Yeah.
You good?
What? Yeah, I'm good.
No, I know who Jack is. What agency is the person?
Oh, these are security for.
Who says he's being detained? What are you talking about?
These are security for news agencies.
Oh, these are your. Jack, are these your people?
No, these are other security. They're for. I forgot who he's with, but yeah, I do appreciate it.
All right, just noticed the chat there. Somebody posted here. I'm just not going to use name. Well, I guess your name is there in the chat anyway for all the reviews that happen post live. So, oh, can't even see. Seisha says some folks don't realize that we live in a global Luciferian society. And WS says no white guilt. So I agree with that completely. That we do live in the people that are in charge. They have this domination and violent tendency. They solve everything with violence and threats and death. I mean, death is the ultimate threat, and they carry it out. Murders and genocide and war and all sorts of stuff happens all the time. And it's really interesting that you bring that up because the people that actually worship Trump, like a huge number of his most avid supporters that just go nuts over him in the chats, and we love Donald Trump, and they're just like, it's unreal. The fanboyism is just like through the roof. It's not even, I mean, it's not even extreme. It's above extreme. It's just so idolizing and like he's the biggest star on the planet. Like he's Jesus Christ. Like they actually, a lot of people do think he is Jesus Christ, right? So you have this self-absorbed, very vindictive asshole billionaire that doesn't care about anybody else but himself. He doesn't even care about his children. He's been on Howard Stern talking about how he doesn't even give a fuck about his kids. He lets other people raise them because he's too busy, and all he's doing is golfing and telling people what to do. I mean, just strip away all the bullshit. That's what Donald Trump does. Is he has the maximum enjoyment that he can possibly have with all the money and wealth that he has, and orders people around to do shit for him. It's called delegation. When you're rich, you don't have to work 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week to make ends meet, right? That's all that's happening with people. If even that, like people are going into debt these days using more and more credit, especially with COVID. But, here's a guy who just totally entertains himself with playmates, does NDAs with $130,000 hush money. Hey, I'm going to have sex with you. I'm going to pay $130,000. Like, this is how eccentric this guy is, right? And tells everybody what to do, threatens, coerces. That's his art of the deal. His art of the deal isn't being some sort of like intelligent mastermind who figures out how to sway people his way. His art of the deal is coercion and threats, taking people to court, using his money as his leverage. Take away all that, he's nothing. He is absolutely nothing, and that's where he's actually going to end up when this is all done. He's going to make the Trump name famous forever, just like he wanted, but it's not going to go the way that he thinks it is. It's going completely the opposite direction of that. Yeah, and so I see your further comments here, Seisha. Very demonic. They say the red tie is human and the blue tie is a clone. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I've never heard that before. Yeah, totally believable. They're very steeped in symbology. All the leadership, it's all through Washington, D.C. The traditions, the rituals, the symbology, it's printed right on the money, right? If you want any evidence that any of this stuff is real, and a lot of it has leaked out, right? There's a lot of this that even people that don't believe in any of this have heard of it before. And the reason why this stuff spreads around is because truth does spread, right? But then, let's just take a really good example here, right, that we can prove. Let's take Pizzagate, right? So I don't know how many people that are listening to this know what actually happened with Pizzagate, but I was following it from the very beginning. And what actually happened there in the live streams, in social media that we were all part of, and not these Jack Posobiec fuckers and stuff we're just starting, right? This is what made these people. So what had happened is Trump was running against Hillary, and WikiLeaks leaked out the Hillary Clinton emails, or not Hillary Clinton emails, the DNC emails. They were leaked out. And in the DNC emails, the head of the DNC, I forget his name, one of those people, and you remind me of this, Sasha, one of the people, the head of the DNC, forget his name, he's involved in the spirit rituals and stuff. There's all this weird shit. I forget what it's called, but where they sacrifice humans. And there's all this code about pie, right? In these emails and some other weird shit going on. There was so much information. There was so much stuff in there about how they're screwing over Bernie and just all this stuff like proving the corruption within the DNC. And so Seth Rich, who was an IT person for the DNC headquarters, was rumored to have leaked that information to WikiLeaks. That is how all of it started. That is what happened. And that information came out right after Seth Rich was murdered in D.C. under really crazy circumstances. And that information was kind of uncovered during that time with a couple of different facts. I forget exactly what those facts were. But those facts in combination with the D.C. police being like really not wanting to investigate it and saying they have no leads, they don't know where to go, and along with a bunch of other weird stuff like nothing was stolen, it was a botched robbery, it was a robbery first, then it was a botched robbery or something like that, just some weird stuff going on with what the DC police were saying, and in combination with WikiLeaks, Julian Assange actually putting out a reward for any information leading to Seth Rich's killing, which is very interesting to do, right? Why would WikiLeaks be so interested in what happened to this DNC IT person named Seth Rich? Why would they do that? Why would they give that information? And so basically what happened from there is the contents of those emails were leaking out some serious pedophilia and other weird shit going on in the DNC. The code word, pedophilia code words, were peppered throughout. This guy was at Podesta, I think that's his name, the head of the DNC guy. And so these alt-right-wing people came into view. And I think it's really these guys work for the feds. They work for the corruption. That's my take on it. But they started appearing, talking about Pizzagate. It's where all the elites go to molest children and stuff like that. No, they don't go to a pizza parlor in the basement to do it, especially one that didn't have a basement, which was by design, by the way. The reason why they did that is because they knew people would uncover that basic piece of information and say this is just a bunch of BS, right? And just ignore it because it's BS. People ignore BS. And that was the whole tactic. That's why we're going into this deep explanation of this, is because this is a tactic of their disinformation. And so basically, these Pacific people, and another guy, what's his name? You probably know, Seisha. It's one of Pacific's buddies. Oh, God. He bragged about raping. He just did a thing called Hoaxed, a YouTube video called Hoaxed. But anyway, these two guys came into view and started talking about Pizzagate and stuff, which was all just disinfo. It was to distract from what was really going on, right? So then you go fast forward a little bit from there, these guys appearing, talking about Pizzagate, and just kind of turning everybody off to this whole subject, to the Democrats were starting to say, and the left, all the left, was starting to say that WikiLeaks was in cahoots with Russia. Okay, that's kind of where the Russia stuff started, actually. I think they were just kind of testing the waters with it there. And so they were pinning Julian Assange leak of the DNC that he was a supporter of Trump and Russia. And so that's how all that started, right? And then he was wanting to do the other leaks as well, and he did. And that's one of the points, is that he didn't leak anything on the Republican Party. He just did it on the Democrats, right? Which pissed off the whole left towards WikiLeaks. Where before that moment, the whole left was with WikiLeaks. They were 100% on board with Julian Assange. It totally sabotaged the whole left movement towards Assange, because all of a sudden Assange is a Russian agent, right? This is their tactic. This is what they're doing on a large scale. They're swaying this opinion through their propaganda in the media. So then you fast forward a little bit more past all that scenario, right? And then we learn about Epstein, right? And Epstein was learned about before, but then it comes out again. Oh, he's this guy who runs this pedo island. He has this little black book. He has Lolita Express. Clinton and Trump have gone there. As a matter of fact, in the little black book, Clinton, Hillary, and Chelsea all were on Lolita Express several times. Trump, Ivanka, and Ivana were on Lolita Express. What are they doing? Swapping wives and children too with Epstein? That's where all this satanic blood ritual stuff and, all this stuff just really starts to make sense. I mean, they're all about war. They're all about domination. They're all about control. They're all about sacrificing lives. I mean, look at COVID. COVID is a big ritual of sacrificing lives, full of disinformation. It just goes deep. I mean, you could go so deep into this stuff, and nobody knows the truth. Some people know the truth, but the general public doesn't know the truth of exactly what it is. But it is as nefarious as we think it is. And even if it isn't that nefarious, it's nefarious enough that we shouldn't be tolerating this, and we shouldn't be letting it continue to happen at all. We need to have these investigations. We need to uncover this stuff. So the whole Epstein stuff, with all these people in power that were sealed off by federal Acosta, Jim Acosta? I forget his name. His last name is Acosta for sure, but he was the federal prosecutor in the first Epstein case in the, 15, 20 years ago or whatever. And in that, he basically let him off the hook. There's an Epstein documentary on Netflix right now that explains the whole thing and how Epstein controlled the Palm Beach police and had deep ties in the Department of Justice. Yet he somehow suicides in a federal prison. It's really crazy. And everything went wrong. Like, cameras were off, guards were sleeping. Everything that could possibly go wrong in a high security federal facility went wrong. Which all the things that went wrong made it so it was impossible to prove what actually happened to him. But this Acosta, in letting him off, he also made it so nobody, not one other person that was associated with Epstein, named or not named yet, would ever be able to be prosecuted. He gave them all immunity, every single one of them. So he let Epstein go, slap on the wrist. He didn't really even spend time in prison. He's going home every day. He's still doing the same things he was prosecuted for. And he gave immunity to all these people. And we find out these people are CEOs, politicians, other people in power, but they're all immune and they're all anonymous. Nobody knows who they are. So when you put the Epstein stuff in together with Pizzagate, also in with all the leaks of the DNC showing some of that pedophilia within the DNC, you can add 1 and 1, or actually that's 3 components, right? So 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3, right? They all count towards the evidence that this is happening. It's widespread. They don't use the NSA spy machine to catch any of these people and stop it, which they certainly could do. That's another evidence, right? So that's the fourth big piece there that shows that pedophilia is rampant in the elite system. And I think it goes right along with the Luciferian stuff. Yeah, it has been a domino effect. Yeah, I mean, everything's connected. It's exactly a domino effect. And, so the Pizzagate stuff is all real. It didn't happen. Hillary Clinton wasn't going to that pizza parlor to have sex with children or whatever, or do blood rituals and all this other crazy shit. But maybe she went to Epstein's Island to do it. I mean, Bill Clinton was certainly spotted there by one of the groundskeepers in the documentary. You didn't see him do anything wrong, but he wasn't with them the whole time either. He wasn't in the bedroom with them. He wasn't in the, sex room or whatever the hell he has built in that place. That's an off-limits area, probably biometric secured. These people hide this stuff. It's not out in the open. And when these little pieces of things keep leaking out into the open, it's not because nothing is there. It's not because it's some conspiracy theory from somebody that's wearing a tinfoil hat that is just loony and crazy. The CIA loves that, right? Because it is a grand conspiracy against us. These people at the top, the Democrats, the Republicans, they're all working together. And they're working together against us. They're all together when it comes to war. They're all together when it comes to giving tax breaks to the rich. They're all together when it comes to raising our taxes. They're all together when they want to spy on all of us. They're all together when they want to lie us to war. They're all together for lying about COVID. They're all together on letting mainstream media misinform us. Oh my gosh, mainstream media is such fake news, but we're not going to do anything about it. It's okay that the American public is fooled. The fake news was fake news long before Trump, and this channel is actually evident of that. I don't remember exactly when I started this channel, but it was, several years ago that I started this channel. And the reason why this channel is called MSM Check, and what you'll see in any of the videos that aren't blocked, which about half of my videos are blocked. I quit doing copyright challenges on them because there's just so many to challenge. And they change their stuff where they can delete your channel. So I just really, it's not worth it. You know, I don't get enough views. I'm shadow banned. You know, and the truth gets shadow banned. You know, when people have figured it out, I don't know everything. I'm not saying I know everything. I learn new stuff all the time. 7 years ago, I thought I knew the general structure of things, and it's changed quite a bit. There's been a lot of new information that's helped me connect more dots and make more sense of things and tie more things together and be able to have a conversation like this. And even though it's kind of all over the place, it's revealing stuff that's all connected. It's all together. It's them against us. And the biggest connection I think I've made so far from everything, all the research, all the streaming, all the effort I put into figuring this stuff out by watching all sides, is we have a sickness here. And the people have a big vulnerability. And that vulnerability is exploited by those in power. They push people. They push people, and the people don't even know they're being pushed. You know, we watched this guy in Portland, you know, where I developed this idea of the Trump MAGA mind and what it is, this domination thing. It's not just racism, it's classism, it's I'm better than you. It's elitism. You know, they think they're better than everybody else. That's why this would-be mass shooter that hopefully isn't going to do it, but it kind of seems like he was headed there, especially because his chat was egging him on, and he's asking his chat specifically, what should I do? And they're all telling him, get your gun, man, get your gun. You know, he's a follower, and he's easily influenced, and he believes a lot of this misinformation, this fake news about what's really going on. He thinks Antifa is in Portland and holding it hostage and terrorizing everybody and destroying the whole city. That is not what's going on. The actual truth of what's going on is the people are protesting. There are some things being thrown at police in riot gear that do not harm police. And they stand right out there for people to do it, to try and generate a response. They don't have to do that. People are protesting at the Justice Center. People are marching in the streets. People are trying to occupy. And anything that people do, the police use an excuse of some sort to shut it down, and it's illegal. It's highly illegal. The ACLU has even been critical and wrote a statement about the whole thing. On the ACLU of Oregon, just search ACLU of Oregon and Portland Police, you'll get the document of what the ACLU has said about the Portland Police. There is an Antifa running around here beating people up. There are people with Trump MAGA mind that are running into people with cars like ISIS. There is that. So, you know, these are all the tactics. It's the Jack Pacifics. It's the Cernovich. That's his name. It's the Cernoviches. It's the, you know, would-be mass shooter in Portland who's actually Latino. He's Latinos for Trump. But he said he has money, and he's lived in the good neighborhoods. He has no idea in his own experience what it's like for Black Lives Matter. He doesn't get it. He doesn't think it's real. He doesn't think anybody has a valid gripe, because if they just pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, they'll be fine. And that is the main thing, the main attack of America. You know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. What are you asking what about there, Sasha? Oh, the mass shooter? You haven't heard about that? Is that what you're saying? What? I know there's a little bit of a delay here. But I kind of bounced around a little bit there. Just trying to reveal some of these tactics. Because, bottom line is, if you learn the tactics that are used against us, it's really easy to identify them. And even if you aren't accurate, like with the conductor, Truth Conductor, I guess is his name. Maybe he's from crooksanliars.com. Not sure. I think that's the sign he's holding, but hold on just one sec. I got to mute. You have to be a little bit more descriptive, Seisha. You've confused me now. I don't know what you mean with no and yeah. There's so much delay, I don't know what you mean. So if you could elaborate what you're saying what about, that would be great. So, if you're aware of these tactics, you can more easily identify them. And when you can more easily identify them, they don't affect you emotionally in the same ways, even if you're wrong. So even if the train conductor didn't know Jack and this is some sort of operation, you can at least look at it. It's a possibility that it could be. And you don't know. I mean, the real answer is, without more information, is you don't know. It's one of the big fallacies of the Trump MAGA mind is they see everything on video and they just assume it's this. Somebody's wearing black, so they are Antifa because Fox News said that Antifa wears all black and masks. So it must be Antifa. You know what? There's a lot of anarchists that wear black. There's a lot of other troublemakers and thugs and gangs and stuff like that wear all black. I mean, it's a pretty common tactic to mask up and wear black if you want to be less visible at night and unidentifiable. It doesn't mean, nobody's going around wearing an Antifa name tag, but every single thing that happens, every window that's broken is blamed on Antifa. It's ridiculous. There's no facts in it. They don't know, but they're so sure of themselves that they know that they just keep spreading it and spreading it in each chat, in each social media post, in each tweet. They just keep spreading out this false belief in their mind. And they've been fooled. They've been bamboozled. Okay. Yeah, so you were saying, what about the mass shooter? Yeah, so the last two streams yesterday, 16 hours worth. There's a 10 and a half hour stream and a 6 hour stream. They're titled Trump MAGA Mind and some other stuff, part 1 and part 2. They should be in the history there. The second one might be gone. I need to double check that after I'm done talking here and watching more of this video. But the first one got censored right out of the bat. Right off the bat is what I meant to say. It got censored right away and I fought it and they put it back. So the 10-hour one should be there unless they've blocked it. The copyright claim was from the group that did Fuck Donald Trump, so I'm sure they're probably going to be okay with it, and it is an informational video for the community is how I did my counterclaim to the copyright violation, which they might delete the channel. I mean, they could just say, oh, well, yeah, you violated the copyright, too bad, bye-bye channel. I mean, that's what you agree to when you submit the dispute. But 4 out of the 5, I've been streaming for 5 days on this channel, been helping in other places since the beginning of the movement, but on this channel, I've been doing it for 5 days straight, big, long streams about all this stuff. And 4 out of the 5 have been blocked. And I've only fought one of them, which was the 10-hour mass shooter. So to answer your question, so I stumbled across this. So I'm looking for opposition to the protest because the protest is being shut down. And that's why we're looking at Jack Syvic here, and we'll be looking at other things as well through these streams. But basically, this guy, I stumbled on his stream, and he started walking away from the Justice Center, and then he was talking about a gun. Should I get my gun? And he's asking his chat, should I get my gun? And his chat was saying, yeah, go get your gun. So he's going back to his truck to get his gun. And then when he sat in the truck and he's watching all the comments, people were telling him to, go back and with his gun. And he's asking them again, what should I do, guys? I'm a little worried. I think this guy identified me. And I should probably get my gun and go back. And they're like, yeah, go do it. And then some of the other people, and some of these seem to be police operating, even Portland police operating in his chat. A bunch of sock puppet accounts, barely created, 1 follower, 0 followers, stuff like that. But some of them started saying, no, they're watching you. Don't do it. Just go home. And so he showed an ammo box. He said, I have a bunch of ammo, though. And there was a box full of ammo, and he had earmuffs on. So he has an assault rifle. His Twitter feed shows him praying to an assault rifle, basically. Total nutcase, man. So because of that, and then he ended the stream, went home. Because of that, I went back, and that 16 hours of video, what it is we went to his first stream in Portland, and we started there, and we pushed play, and we ran through all of his streams, and during each incident seen in the stream, in the chat, things that he said, we formed this, the video title even changed because we formed this opinion about what's really going on. We got to really see inside the Trump MAGA mind, what makes it tick. And it is a brain issue. You can't convince these people what they're doing is wrong because they think it's right. Domination is a way of their life, even if they're poor, even if they're not good dominators and they haven't dominated their way to the top. A lot of them have, but even the poor ones have this sickness, and that's where the racism comes from. That's where the sexism comes from. But anyway, we got to really, out of that 16 hours, there's probably about 6 hours of commentary, about 10 hours of his streams. And we went back and saw the whole progression. And day one, at the end of day one, he streamed for a long time, like 6 of those hours on day one. At the end of it, he assaults somebody. He comes to some protesters. He talks to him, assaults them, drops the stream, comes back. He's in his truck. Everybody's going, what's going on? And he said that he got into a fight and hit this dude. And then a bunch of his buddies came and he hauled ass. And he pulled a knife for a minute. And he's going to use his knife. But some guy talked him out of it. And he just ran and went home. Was going to go home. So he's in his truck talking about all this, saying all this out of his mouth. So we really got a really interesting example of what a mass shooter person who wants to harm the protest, how they think. Because typically what we find in these situations, in these mass shooting situations, is that the incident happens, right? The mass shooting occurs. We don't know who these people are. We don't get this glimpse into it that we were lucky to get. So please share it. I mean, people need to know. And I want to stay anonymous. I'm not doing this for fame. I'm doing this for the people. That's what this channel's about. But this needs to get out there because it affects everybody. And we made a lot of really great points. I had some mic troubles. I had technical issues. But, get a good speaker system. Listen to that because even though it's long, even though it's 16 hours, there's a lot of information in that that's just so critical for people to understand on their tactics, what they do. You can see what's happening from their end when they're attacking the protest. And they're just mingling in with the protest, being nice. being nice to everybody until they get alone and they attack them violently and assault them. Yeah, it was just, if you have a mass shooter, they do the thing, and then everybody goes to look for their social media, and it's all removed, right? Twitter removes it, Facebook removes it, everybody removes all their stuff, and a lot of these people haven't really streamed, right? This guy was streaming for 10 hours, and he bounced from, hey, I really agree with the protests, these guys are great, to I fucking hate these guys, I want to kill them type of thinking. I mean, he would go from one extreme to the other. He's so unstable. And I really, like in the beginning, that first day, I really thought that he was just going to come the next time and be violent. But he came the next day, and he's like, I really think this is great. And the next day, he was saying they were totally peaceful this time. And he missed a lot of what happened because he lost his charger. I mean, there's a lot to the story. There's a lot of stuff that went on in that 16 hours. It's crazy. And I commented on a lot of it. And I'm pretty experienced with streaming, with protests. So this is a, pretty in-depth analysis on these 16 hours. But really, it's so critical that people learn this. You can't reason with these people. I thought he was actually getting the protest. I was like, God, he gets it. He's finally getting it. Like, after he assaulted the person the next day, I was like, man, this guy, he's changing. He's getting it. But I also knew in the back of my mind, he's talking about getting his gun. And I didn't know why. Maybe I thought, okay, maybe it's some anarchist that he wants to kill because some incident happened that I didn't see because I just came into it when he's talking about the gun, right? So I went back and watched the whole thing from beginning to end to get to where he got to. And he just jumped. He went all over the place. And bottom line, the main reason why, and I was wrong in the beginning of the video, I thought he was just a crazy mass shooter, which he could be. I mean, he certainly could be. He has all the signs of it, right? But the actual reason why he wanted to get his gun is because he did assault somebody that first time. He was really worried about, and expressing this in his chat, about how the protesters are going to ID him from that event. And so he's really paranoid about being in the protest. And they were all telling him, his chat was telling him to go, to keep doing it. Yeah, mind control. Yeah, it is mind control too, because he's literally asking his chat what to do, and they're telling him. And a lot of them seem like they're cops in sock puppet accounts, and he kept talking to him like he'd say things. There's things that kind of identify their cops. He's all, you guys should arrest these guys, things like that, where you're like, holy crap, like they are cops, he's talking to somebody on the side, and then he got a phone call, and there's a text message, and he's like going to the right places at the right time. So he's getting informed by the police on their actions. And people in his chat were saying, like, police are attacking in 2 minutes, and boom, lo and behold, 2 minutes, the cops attacked us. So, once again, that's kind of bouncing all over the place again. But, bottom line is, on his gun, why he wanted to get it, the end result is this fight. And he was worried about being ID'd. And the second night or third night, I can't remember, somebody did mention that they're looking for him right next to him and described what he was wearing the night of the assault, which freaked him out. And then that final night where he's talking about the gun, the very last of the stream, you just go to the end of part 2 for the last 10 minutes and see the end of it, how it turned out. He hasn't streamed since. You can see that he wanted to get his gun because he was kind of with the police. He had listened to the police, and he was at the right place, and he didn't get shot with rubber bullets. And somebody came up next to him and said his name. His name's Andy. They go, "Are you Andy?" And I didn't hear a response. He probably just shook his head no. And then he walked away. And he wanted to get his gun because somebody had ID'd him again. And he was worried that because he assaulted somebody, he would need a gun for protection for himself because he felt like he was going to be attacked. So maybe he isn't planning a mass shooting, but that's certainly how a mass shooting could take place, right? I mean, we don't know the full story. The MSM doesn't tell us the full story. So that kind of sums up the whole thing there in that 16 hours of some of the key points of what went on. But there is a lot of detail and a lot of insight to how these people think. He's a total Trump worshiper. His Twitter timeline, he retweeted Trump's Law and Order, and then he's out there doing a stream talking about getting a gun. And the cops seem to be coordinating with him too on another device with phone calls and text messages. So it's almost like the Proud Boy incident back, months ago with when they were coming down to be violent to quote unquote Antifa, and the police were text messaging him and ignoring warrants and all this stuff. And Ted Wheeler said that they just like open lines of communication. They're not actually coordinating with them, which is a bunch of crap. But I did actually talk here way longer than I thought I was, which is fine. I don't mind. I like interacting with the chat, and you're very welcome for sharing all that. That's what we're about, is sharing this information. It needs to get out. Not these assumptions, but these actual facts of things that are going on. And the biggest problem we have now is a movement, Black Lives Matter movement, and a people's movement supporting the Black Lives Matter causes, which affects everything, and the whole system needs to be changed. It needs to be, we need a sustainable future. We need an economy that works for everybody, not just a few. And we need justice applying to all in the same ways. And that is going to help Black Lives Matter. That's going to help everybody. We need to fix it. And to fix it, it isn't just about Black lives, although that was the spark. And that is the chant, because they are the most marginalized. But there are other marginalized as well. That we can't forget, and that includes, even some of us that have had privilege all our lives. That privilege is eroding, and we need to fix this shit for everybody. So, and Black Lives Matter is fully on board with that. They know that too. They know the injustices are all throughout the system, and the system needs to be burned to the ground and rebuilt as a real thing. Which is guaranteed by our Bill of Rights. It says if our system's unjust, we have the duty, not just the right, but we have the duty to fix it. And that's what we're trying to do. So I'm going to go back to Jack Poseidon here and see what else happens in this stream.
I know, it's addictive. Make sure you're safe. Where you at? I mean, well, the issue is, the fact that we're away from these guys now. These guys still follow.
The issue is you're a Nazi, Jack, and you founded the alt-right movement. Did you not found the alt-right movement, Jack?
No,
Jack, you found the alt-right movement? Didn't you find the alt-right movement?
Bro, I'm not in the park anymore. What do you want me to do?
Get out of here. This isn't your city. Go home.
Get your car and leave.
Hey, bro, go home, Jack. This ain't your city. Go home.
Are you gonna let me walk?
Exactly. So we don't want you to. Oh, you just don't want your plate taken again, do you?
Need to move.
You're afraid to go to your car because you're afraid your car is going to get a picture taken, and then people are going to know your license.
I'm not gonna run away, Jason.
You're doing it right now. You're already so.
To film.
Yeah.
Fucking Nazi ass.
Get out of here, Jack.
Please, can you leave our city? You're not walking.
Again, I already left. Like I'm not in the park anymore. I'm not at your event.
You're not welcome in our city.
I left already.
Get
I'm
the
out.
fuck out of our city.
This is our city.
I live here.
Keep going. Go back to your apartment, Jack.
Keep walking.
Keep walking. Go.
Keep walking. Keep walking.
We'll follow you there.
I'll
make sure you get there safe. I'll make sure you get there safe. I'll make sure you get there safe. I'm gonna make sure you're gonna get there safe. I'll make sure you get there safe.
Why should I trust you? Are you going to stop following?
I'll make sure you get there safe. I'll make sure you get there safe, Jack. I'm gonna make sure you get there safe.
Then what difference does it make if I
I'm
keep
gonna
going
make
if
sure
you
you
keep
get there
following me?
safe.
No, how
Go
about
home.
towards the
We
police?
want to make sure you fucking get the way out of here.
Go. Hey,
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I'll lift you up that fucking way.
Keep going.
No, right now, for my own safety, I would like to walk towards the police officers. Is that all right, Jason?
Walk that way.
I don't see any police officers that way, so I'm gonna walk towards the police officers now.
You're gonna walk that way. No, you're not. No, you're not. Get the fuck out.
That guy just fell.
He didn't do shit.
This ain't happening, Jack. You're not going that way. This ain't happening, Jack. This ain't happening.
Hey,
Jack, this is not happening. Go back that way.
Whoa. Why are you forcing him to go where he doesn't want
Jack,
to go?
get out of here.
Why are you forcing him to go where he doesn't want to go?
Let go of me.
Please stop.
Get out. Back off. Back off.
Hey.
It's supposed to be a peaceful rally, right? It's supposed to be a peaceful rally. You're touching other people. You're touching other people.
He's a fucking Nazi.
I want to go to the police.
Well, call the police officer then. There's a police officer right there.
It's a fucking police
You don't have the right to do what you're doing.
He's a fucking Nazi.
But you might call him wrong. What makes you right? What makes you right?
He's a fucking...
So let's take this a little bit further. You know what a photo op is? This is a very similar situation. Video credit to Breitbart. They title it Jack Posobiec and the Lincoln Statue Under Attack from Antifa in Washington, D.C. So they're exposing Antifa, right? Which these people, who knows who they are, right? They could be Antifa. It could be anarchists. It could be, anybody who hates Nazis, right? Which is, I would hope most of America does not like Nazis, which he is definitely one of those types. So he's definitely a white supremacist. He's definitely, for the state, the corruption, all the above. He'll lie. He lies. This whole thing could be a lie. And the person holding him back may not even be a protester. They're fully masked, fully unidentifiable. Maybe it's just one, maybe it's two. Maybe both these women are with him, creating this controlled opposition. They really like to do this because it makes it more believable. And when you have both parties, so the main tactic here that goes on, how they disrupt things and create all this quote-unquote factual media that shows how violent Antifa is they want to do it in a controlled situation where they have full control of what's happening, right? If you have Jack Posobiec going down there just to generate a bunch of hate without being protected, without having a script, without having his actors, his real paid Soros billionaire protecting actors, if he just goes in like that, there's a loss of control, right? So it's better if he controls his opposition. If he has some actors who play the part, they're dressed up the part, they're acting the part of the protester, but they're actually not. They're scripting this more authoritarian, this situation that's making the protests look bad. And that is the goal. And I actually didn't get to finish that point because I jumped around to so many different facts about some of those things. But the protest as a whole is being attacked from all sides. And it's an order from Donald Trump, who has basically had a meeting with the governors that's on YouTube. It's a full leaked phone call where he basically called all the governors weak and to use more force and dominate the protesters on the battlefield and make the protests go away like Occupy Wall Street. He used all those words. That's their goal. He wanted that to happen again, and every single governor, including all the Democrat ones, followed his orders. So the right-left thing is exposed right there. The Democrat versus Republican. No, it's all the same team. It's already been exposed. It's leaked out there. If you don't know this information, it's because they don't want you to know this information. It's so weird, too, because all the news agencies actually leak this stuff. It's like they're testing the American people to see how stupid they are, because they actually were the leakers of it. And at the end of it, it says, this isn't for media consumption. This conversation is off record. That's what the White House media person said, is the call is off record. So, you know, they're going to do anything they can to discredit the protests and make it go away. And this is the kind of stuff they do, right? 3,500 viewers on this stream that saw this, and it could all be crisis acting. Who knows? We don't know. But what we do know is Jack Posobiec is a Nazi. We do know that they are trying to destroy the protests. We do know that there are a lot of upset people who are obviously going to conflict with people who say nothing is wrong and create these situations. And we do know that there's crisis actors, agent provocateurs, and stuff like that that create these situations as well to discredit the protests. And even if these two women are actually protesters that are just angry, it really doesn't matter because that doesn't define the movement. The whole movement isn't ridiculous or criminal or whatever because of the actions these women are taking right now. And that's another thing that's lost in the weeds. And they like it lost in the weeds. The mainstream media pushes that. You know, one person throws a water bottle and the whole nationwide protest is null and void. That's their tactic. Smear, discredit, and disrupt.
Hey,
let go of me. Let go of me. Let go of me.
There's a police officer right there. What makes you
There are
right?
cops
if
right
you think
there.
he's wrong?
Get out, Jack.
Where's
the police officer?
He's right there.
Talk to
He's
the
on the
Don't
corner.
touch me.
He's on the corner.
You're touching him.
Don't touch me. I'm not
No, he's on the corner. He's on the corner.
You've been touching him.
to the
Who the fuck are you? Stay right
Who
here.
the fuck are you, honey? Shut the fuck up.
One more comment on that, knowing what they just said there. There's a cop or cops watching them right there. And they're not doing anything. And that's also on purpose, too. They just let it go on, right? There is kind of assaultish type behavior happening here, but the women, nothing's happening to them. So, very interesting how the police handle these situations. But they're there to observe, right? Or they're to help protect Jack if something happens, is probably more accurate.
Yo, oh, no.
Don't pay no
Hey,
hey. Hold up. Y'all don't know each other. This ain't about y'all. This ain't about y'all.
Don't touch him. Don't touch him. Don't touch him.
Hey, can this man talk to the police or not? Can he talk to the police?
No.
I'd like to go to the police.
Go, Jack. Get out. Get out, Jack. You go that way. You go that way.
You fuck out of here.
That way.
Trouble.
That way is where you go. You want to call the cops and talk to them?
What did I do?
There's the cop right there.
You
founded the fucking all-white movement. That's what you fucking
He founded it, for God's sake. You're giving this man a little too much credit. Shit.
Where's MPD? They're right there. There's MPD. They're in that van right there. there. Go talk to him. Go talk to the cops. You want to talk to him, right? Go talk to him.
That's not a cop, man. The cops are back there.
Get out of here, you stupid Nazi trash. You're a Nazi piece of shit. You are a Nazi. You are a literal fucking Nazi. You know that? Remember when you see Kyle? Remember when you see Kyle? They jack it off. Don't touch him. Don't touch him. Get out, Jack. Get out. Get out. Jack, put the out. Get out.
Please stop touching him.
Get out of here. Jack, get out of here.
Get in your car.
Get
Do not call me sweetheart.
Hey, don't put your hands on a woman.
Don't touch her. Don't touch her. Back up. You back up. You back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Get out of here.
Hey, I think you better walk away. Cool off, yeah?
Get out, Jack. Get out. Get out. Get off. Get off. Get off. Out, Jack. Get out, Jack.
Hello, Jack. Say hello to Luke too.
Bro, how are you? Get the fuck out of our city. Where are you going? No. How do you know where I'm parked? Where are you parked? You know where I'm parked. Where are you parked? Could you let me go, please? Where are you parked? I won't. Where are you parked? You don't know where I'm parked. We'll walk you to your car. We'll walk you to your car.
No, escort squad. You go that way to get out.
Sorry, we are your escort squad. Where are you parked? We'll walk you to your car. I'm going this way. Guys.
No, I think because you sound like
Don't get your liver spots away from me.
You know, my brother, you gonna pay deal. You're not responding. Let them do their shooting. I just replaced in the other seat. We got this over here. We got this. We got this. All right, excuse me. Hey. No. Don't touch. No, we got this. We got this.
Get out of here, you Nazi.
Back up.
Get out of here, you Nazi. That's a Nazi right there. That's a bona fide fucking Nazi.
asshole Nazi. How you feel about that?
Bona fide Nazi, Jack Masovic.
Nobody advance forward. That's all. Let him go. You don't advance.
Get out, Jack. Go to your car and get out.
Head back to the car.
No, we're gonna stay here till he's gone. He's gone. Then get him out of here.
Hey, look.
Get him out of here. Or get your CO.
Back up. What are you gonna do? Back up. Go back to the car. Get out of here. Back up.
Get him out of here. Get Jack
back up.
Come on, let's go. Get him out of here.
Your line. Your line went down. Let's go. Line down and go back to the sidewalk. Pull it down and go back to the sidewalk. Let's go. Pull it down and go back to the sidewalk.
We're telling you to back up. Push the back up. Back up. Tell Jason to get this fucking asshole out of here. Tell Dogshore to get this asshole out of here. You get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Jack, you alright? The only reason these people are here is think I saw him instigate anything. Jack, it's Purdy. You alright, brother?
Totally fine. Are you guys having a nice talk? I'm thinking about fish tacos for later.
Oh, you're getting your own ride in a police van?
Bye, Jack! Bye, Jack!
Bye, Jack! Bye, bitch!
Bitch, bye!
Not going this way!
Bitch, bye!
Hey, look, see? You don't, little lady, you don't win.
Get out of my way!
You don't win.
Get out of my way! Get out of my way! We're moving. Go!
Stop putting your hands on people. That's
You guys are going to escalate this.
You shut the fuck up.
What's his name, guy? He just assaulted her. He put his hand on her. Badge number
He just assaulted her. What's his badge number? We hit that shit go.
Fucking Nazi piece of shit! Hey, Pipsqueak, don't touch me again! Where the fuck is that Pipsqueak? Damn fine. That is a sort of attachment, Stark. Don't look at that goofy ass on your body. Yeah, where's Belgium?
I know that you're calling that dude a Pipsqueak, but you're... What he has said. Okay. You're saying that because the word did not come out of his mouth here that he's innocent?
No, that's not what he's saying.
He's saying he didn't say anything, but the man has said things in the past.
He said in the past.
The man has regularly said
Nobody
things.
has the right to stomp him. Nobody has the right to stomp him.
People the right. Anything you're just going to say I'm misquoting him, so I'm going to let you do some research.
I don't look. I've only watched a couple of his things, so I don't really follow the man. I think he pronounces his name wrong. It should be Posobiec, not Posobiec. So, what has he said specifically?
He says inflammatory things
like
all the time that are disrespectful.
What? Okay, disrespectful things,
that
dude.
That are disrespectful to human rights.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Can you tell me something?
I'm ugly. I'm saying that the dude's racist.
All right. Fine. Tell me something he said that warrants him being beat in the street.
He wasn't beat.
They were trying to.
They were trying to.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
They didn't touch him.
Yes, they did.
They did.
Yes, they did.
They did. That's why I had to step in the way.
We had to get in between them.
Okay. Then you're talking about people who get beat by cops.
I've been beat by the cops.
How many times?
Shit. Twice.
For what?
Okay. For fucking skating when I was 14.
Yeah.
Shit.
And so you know exactly how much it sucks.
Yes, I do. That has nothing to do with why he was here, though. He was here just to get some footage of the event.
People murking the issues. That's a different issue.
He's an agitator, though.
Who?
That man who just climbed into the back of a police station.
I understand. But he didn't touch anybody.
He didn't touch anybody.
If we would have been out in the middle of nowhere, Virginia, they would have mobbed on us.
I know, but we ain't there.
He didn't touch anybody.
So they can't be down here.
No, that's what I'm
All
saying. But you want to say?
It's a history of filming people and then documenting.
I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. I got
Wow, a lot to unpack there. Hopped in a police van, got escorted out of there. Maybe arrived in a police van, who knows. Definitely works with the police, works with the corrupt power. That is a fact. Was a photo op type session. He's not there to find out what's going on. He's there to generate the controversy against Antifa. The big psyop going on in the Trump MAGA mind right now. I'm going to find some other video here to throw on. I will be right back with you.
Well, I don't know how many of you just watched that thing. I don't know what you call it. I've never seen anything like this in my life. I'm a licensed attorney, a longtime critic of police misconduct. I've done Section 1983 cases, which if you know anything, you know what that means. I've sued police officers on behalf of people wronged. I've never seen anything like that in my life. This does not look like any kind of functioning legal system that I could ever imagine. Let's just go through, the quick, too long didn't read, too long didn't watch thing. They're potentially seeking the death penalty against a police officer. I haven't seen the indictment, whether they will charge it, but The district attorney said that he was charging the officer with felony murder, and he noted that the death penalty was a potential sentence for that, a potential penalty for that crime. So that wasn't, it's not clear that he's being charged with the death penalty, but again, during the press conference, he said that he is charging the officer with felony murder and that the death penalty or life without parole are both potential penalties. He said that the officers were not in fear of death or gross bodily injury because the taser was shot over their head. This is not something that I could ever have imagined hearing anywhere. So the exact quote is, the taser was fired above the officer's head. You can go watch the press conference. I encourage everyone to watch the press conference, because if you're a police officer, you know anybody who's a police officer. If you know anybody who's a police officer, would you grab her, please, babe? If you know anyone who's a police officer, get them out. Get them out of these cities. Get them out. There's no way to spin it.
I'm sorry. This is her time.
There's no way to flip it.
This is my time.
Okay, so I'm getting kicked out of my own house. Life is a cuck. No. You can't even. This is this is my life, people. This is my life. I can't even stream about current affairs. This is Dad! This is my time. This is my life now. You just watch me get humiliated in real time. That's okay though. It's just the way of the world, man. That's what's become of me. That's what's become of me in my life. The lighting's good here at least. Yeah, so there's no way to overstate this, which is that
So this douchebag right here is Posibek's buddy Cernovich, both part of the alt-right social media injustice warrior group. Says he's a lawyer. This dude bragged about choking out bitches while he raped them. He did have rape charges that he was convicted of. And he's a lawyer too. Just goes to figure. And this guy actually was in the White House press briefings with Trump, along with Cassandra Fairbanks, who is a amateur porn star who posed as a streamer during Ferguson Black Lives Matter, but turns out to be one of these fucknuts. The right and left stuff that these MAGA minds fall into is just over the top. A lot of liberals don't have Trump MAGA mind, but a lot of most neoliberals do. They have the same exact far right Trump MAGA mind, where they're superior to everybody else, and their thing is more important than anybody else's thing. And so this guy is complaining about the Rashard Brooks officer being charged. 11 days ago, he makes this video. Can't believe that he saw it. And if you notice what just happened there, his daughter is screaming, "This is my time." So he has in his family household specific time that he has set up with his kids, I would assume, because he hardly does it. So this is the kind of family values that we're talking about. That his racist rant on Periscope is more important than his daughter. And he actually just sent it to you there, how he's being harassed by his own family. And he's embarrassed. And oh well, that's the world, and he's more comfortable here on the couch away from them. So, pretty crazy, man. Like, these are the people in control. They care about their families that much that they know how we should care about ours.
If you know a police officer, get them out. There's just no other way to put it. Get them out. because what those officers did, and again, this shows how we are like a cult. If you go, Mike, say Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Say George Floyd was murdered. George Floyd was murdered. Say Rayshard Brooks was murdered. No, he wasn't. He was a drunk, passed out in a drive-through, driving drunk. Do you know how many people die every year from drunk driving? No, he wasn't murdered. He was drunk driving.
He was shot in the back.
Got into a fight with law enforcement, and he tried to shoot them with the taser. Right? So you can and that's how you know we're in a cult. If you deviate even a little bit, now you're a racist, white supremacist, just a little bit. It's not enough. Yeah, Black Lives Matter, I agree. Okay. And back, new studio. I got evicted from another room again, so I will be in a new studio talking about Rayshard Brooks and the press conference. So again,
Piece of shit got evicted from another room from his daughter, saying it's her time and wanting her time with her dad. Sounds pretty young. And this guy, he is racist. And this guy talks all the time about how black children don't have their fathers. That's the level of Trump MAGA mind that we're talking about here. The sickness, the symptoms, right? He has a Russian, probably mail order wife. I don't know. That he dominates women. He probably dominates her. You know, he's convicted of rape. He's taken sex by force, and we're supposed to listen to this guy's morals. He talks about how bad black people are all the time, and then wonders why people call him a racist. Talks about how a cop shooting a black man in the back twice and not rendering him medical aid and all that kind of stuff is not murder. This guy's totally confused, and you can't fix it. You show this guy every fact in the world on why this stuff happens, why black families are torn apart, why brown families are torn apart. You know, you could show him the evidence, video evidence. He's still going to think the same. You can't change these people. It's a big problem.
To summarize, yeah, and we're back. I got evicted from my room. I know it's funny. It's funny and it's not funny, but so I'm evicted in a new room now. So part 2 of the press conference, or the part 2 of my press conference discussing this lawless press conference. So what now do you tell a police officer who you're shot at with the taser, but if the taser falls over your head, then you can't defend yourself because your life is not in danger and you're not facing a serious risk of harm if you're shot with the taser over your head. Do you understand? Do you understand what we just saw? What we just saw was, and some people are going to like it too. You know, I don't think it'll be half the country. 20% of the country love what they just saw, which is a changing of the guard. 20% of the country's going to like it. Trump's too much of a bitch to do anything about it other than hide in his office and try to pander to Kim Kardashian, right? Trump was, right? Which Trump, law and order, blah, blah, blah. So Trump's so busy pandering to the left. The police are without a friend in the world. What happened to George Floyd was murder. Do Black Lives Matter? Yes. I don't play the All Lives Matter shit. I don't play the blah, blah. If you want to say we should focus on a group, I am okay with that. But that doesn't matter. We live in a cult world now. It's not enough to say there needs to be police reform. So Trump, what he's doing, he's busy pandering to people who they're never going to be satisfied until there's complete anarchy and destruction in the country. That is who he's pandering to. That's who Trump is pandering to. So these officers, and one of them flipped because of the death penalty, right? So one of them is going to testify against the other officer.
Hey there, Alpha. Just saw your message there. Don't know if you're still around. We're continuing our investigations into these Trump MAGA minds, and there's a lot of good stuff. Since we're really diving into this. That Portland possible mass shooter guy really revealed a lot of the inner workings of these people, and watching them on their videos talk about what they think in this very this time, they're like really coming out. I mean, they are scared. They are very fearful of the black person gaining any power, and so they're laying it all on the line. It looks like, taking a look at these people, they're laying it all on the line, and we are documenting that.
What's there to testify to, right? What is there to testify to? It's all on video. Drunk driver passed out in Wendy's. Oh, and by the way, remember when I found all that stuff about Rayshard Brooks and, some of the charges? I'm waiting for the media to debunk that, right? Because when people, I'm waiting for the media to tell me that I found a different person with the same name and age as Rayshard Brooks, right? That I haven't been debunked yet. That's how you know you found the goods. The media won't report it, but they're not going to debunk it because they can't debunk it. So the police, when they take a call, you find out the person's criminal history, right? When you call in and you say, here's the name, they tell you they run it through NCIS. They run it through the database. And they find all the criminal history so they know what they're dealing with and who they're dealing with. So if you're a police officer, anybody who's a police, tell them all blue flu. Nationwide blue flu. No more police. Let's just go a week without the police. Everybody wants to hate them. Everybody wants to say the police are Nazis. They're fascists. Good. Let's just give everybody a week without the police. Because I'll be fine. I don't need the police. People like me don't need the police. Why? Because we can handle things. Nationwide blue flu. That's what you have to tell every officer. Nationwide, just don't show up. We hate the police now. We all hate the police. Country hates the police. Trump hates them. Trump signing executive orders, putting the spotlight on and casting the spotlight on the police in a negative manner. So Trump hates the police. Republicans hate the police. The public hates the police. Great. Take a week off. Nationwide. We got flu. We think we got corona. Who knows? Not feeling too good. Let's let the country go a week without the police. That's what they have to do. They have to make an act of will, an act of assertion to go a week. Just here you go. You don't want us. You don't like us. Take a week off. No police. Blue flu. And if you're in Atlanta, blue flu. Oh, I would love to see Atlanta go a week without police. They would think that General Sherman and his ghost had returned. So let's see Atlanta go a week without the police. They'll wish for the good old days when it was just General Sherman running through Atlanta. Do it. Right? That's what you have to do, because what is happening, and that press conference was a disgrace as a lawyer. If you want to charge the guy with manslaughter, I might not agree, but I can get it. Felony murder with potential death penalty, there's no way to get to A to B. I'm a lawyer, criminal defense, civil rights. I know how the law works on this. There's no way you get to felony murder from what happened in that video. You could maybe do manslaughter. And I think that would be a tough case to make, but you can do manslaughter. But felony murder. Oh, and then another thing I want to talk about, which is unprecedented, violation of oath of office, which is unbelievable. Unbelievable. They're claiming that he's being criminally charged because when he arrested or went to arrest Rashard Brooks, he didn't say, we are arresting you for DUI, right? So if somebody's passed out drunk in a drive-through, could potentially kill someone else, and then you go over there and you're like, all right, we got to arrest you. If you don't say you are specifically under arrest for DUI, you can be criminally charged for violating your oath of office. Go watch that press conference, because that's the change. We watched the change in real time. The case is weak. I mean, the case is just, there's no arguing with me. The case is weak. It's clearly not felony murder with potential for death penalty. It's manslaughter would be a tough road to hoe, but you could kind of understand it. What happened there was a show trial that you would see in the era of Stalin or Pol Pot or Mao. That's not America. This is not America with the rule of law. But Trump, he could keep pandering these people. Keep pandering to people who hate you. They're not going to vote for you ever. They're going to keep calling you a Nazi. They're going to keep calling you white supremacist while the police are being lynched. And that's a strong word. I thought we were to abolish lynching, right? We're just told we need a law on making lynching illegal, even though lynching is illegal because it's murder, right? They're like, oh, lynching is not a crime. No, it is. It is a crime under several statutes. Lynching is already illegal. So people are like, lynching isn't a crime. Yes, it is. Lynching is already a crime. There are 101 ways to charge people. Murder and to get the death penalty. Because you can get the death penalty with the hate crime enhancement in federal trials, federal courts. So it's a crime. What I just saw in that press conference, so that's illegal lynching. People can be offended by that language all they want. I don't care. They're trying to, in real time, enact Stalin show trials, and I ain't co-signing it. I will co-sign Black Lives Matter. I will co-sign there is some systemic racism. I will co-sign a lot of left-wing things that my people get pissed at and yell at me about. I will co-sign that there's still racism in America. And isn't just Democrats are the real racists and all Republicans. I will co-sign all that shit. I will not fucking co-sign lawless, Stalinistic show trials where a police officer is charged for felony murder with the potential for the death penalty because the taser went over his head. Therefore, he's not in danger. Go watch. I'm not making this up. I'm not spinning it. You couldn't spin that press conference to be worse. You couldn't spin it. You couldn't make it up. You couldn't write. That's a fiction thing out of like Ayn Rand when she caricatures a left-wing ideologue. That's what it is. That's a caricature of a character in Ayn Rand. He would even be like a clever name like Wesley Mooch. He would have some kind of clever name that would go along with what we just watched that district attorney did. So I don't co-sign Stalinistic shit. I don't co-sign show trials. I don't co-sign saying that the officers weren't in danger of death or gross bodily harm because the taser went over his head. Are you fucking kidding me? The taser went over his head. How the fuck are you fucking nuts, right? So if you're in the heat of battle, they're shooting at you with the taser, and the person, has a violent past. But if the taser, doesn't hit you because it whizzed over your head, oh, maybe if it hit his eyeball, and then he'd have lost his eyeball and been paralyzed or something, but then it's too late, right? Then it's too late. They also claim that both of the tasers were discharged. One, we'll see if that's even true, because based on what I saw a lot of shenanigans. They were showing the classic shenanigans where they didn't show the video. They showed images of the video, right? They showed images of the video. They're like, oh, here he is standing on the body. Show the video. No. Here, we'll just show you a blown up image of one screen. So if you walk over someone, your foot can look like it's on it. So and the images were blurry. That thing was a mess. So now they're saying that both taser cartridges were discharged. One, I don't know. I don't believe anything that fucking guy said. I don't believe anything that district attorney said. 0. 2, you're supposed to count now. Oh, he's shooting at me with the taser. How many rounds does he got left? Right? So that's the rule now. If you're a police officer and you're called because a drunk driver is passed out in a drive-through and might murder or maim someone on the road, as happens tens of thousands of times a year, you can't do anything because, well, he taser shot. Oh, how many taser shots was that? Oh, okay, no, that was 1. Was it 1 or 2? You got to stop with your partner. Hey, bro, how many taser shots was that? Was that 1 shot or 2? I don't know how many was it. I don't know. Oh, he's running away. Okay, hope he doesn't kill anybody. Hope he doesn't, kill anybody. Great, just let him go. Hope he doesn't drive his car. Put him in an Uber. Make it an Uber driver's fault. Right? Think through the implications. This happened because a drunk driver was passed out in a parking lot, in a drive-through. This did not happen because there are bad shootings. That officer who went into the wrong apartment thought somebody else was broken in and shot. That person, no excuse for that. You don't ever hear me defend that. Even that case out of Georgia with the guys who chased down Aubrey, I think is how you say his name. I wasn't defending that. I was saying it's probably.
All right, we're just going to end it there. This guy, he's just as bad as Jack. It sounds like he's learned a few things, maybe. I don't know. I think it's more controlled opposition. You can see the duping delight in his face. I don't know if y'all know about duping delight. You should look it up. He's really pulling it over on everybody. Terrorism against police officers for shooting people in the back. Interesting. All right. Well, we're going to end the stream for now. Be back later.